Joe.
Fratelloni.
I am rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you this pre-Christmas Garage Logic number 1,000.
This birthday edition.
1,451, December 23, 2024. 58 degrees on this day in 1888. And the low on this day is 1872. I have a little bit more information for you. On this day in 2020, that's not that long ago, almost 9 inches of snow. And the warmest Christmas Eve, just so you know these things, was 47 degrees in 1909. In this minuscule time frame in the cosmic scheme of things that we've kept records. What?
Wasn't it 50-something last year on Christmas Eve?
I don't know, Chris.
Well, okay, sorry.
It
was.
You have an uncanny way of just crashing everything.
Sorry.
Christmas Day, I don't know when it was the warmest now, but based on my weather guide, 51 degrees in 1922. Now, you might be right, because the weather guys.
What?
You want to start over?
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden
The weather
Stores.
guides I use are probably printed in about October.
Okay.
So it might be more than a year catch up to pick up the current records. So, Chris, I'm gonna say this: you might very well be right. I just don't remember.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Would somebody please look up the temperature?
I have it.
What was it?
55 degrees in 2023.
Well, then that's the record.
And I only recall that because I took the bride and the boys to the Vikings game, and I remember my oldest was wearing shorts to the game against the
Christmas
Lions.
Eve?
Against the Lions.
Last year.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I want to congratulate all members of the Royal Order of the 21sters for having survived another winter. Because, as you know, members of the Royal Order of the 21sters are now into our spring. Our days are getting longer. We probably we'll pick up a few minutes today, I would imagine. Starts with just incremental seconds, but then we're off flying.
I can give you the specifics if you so choose.
Of?
The length of the day. I have a sunrise-sunset table. Today's day length, 8 hours, 42 minutes. Tomorrow's, 8 hours, 42 minutes.
There's a few seconds that we 21sters know about and covet.
Okay.
You know, both Thursday and Friday last week, I was trying to decipher the emails from a fellow named Eric, who's a kind fellow, who's been sending us, trying to tell us about his friend, Lieutenant Dan. Apparently, his buddy's disabled, and they call him Lieutenant Dan. And he's been taking videos of unknown beings, unknown vehicles over St. Paul. Are you recalling those emails that I've tried to decipher? Well, he's at it again. And he said, a good holiday to you and the crew. Here is a clip from my buddy, Disabled Dan, a.k.a. Lieutenant Dan. He likes that moniker. Feel free to say it on the air. This was a video taken at the park with the bronze statue of the Indian and the wolf hunting together at the corner of, would be Western and Summit.
Okay.
All right?
Got it.
It's the Indian boy. It's
Yeah.
the famous, it's a wonderful little... And sure enough, he did send me the video, and he got something. So this ain't all BS.
Okay.
It's presumably a drone, but he did get something, and it's very detailed. It's brief, but it's detailed. And then Eric goes on to say of other sightings over around Lake Phelan. I only mention that because if 75% of these so-called drone sightings are just automobile reflections in somebody's mirror, their house windows.
Yep.
That leaves 25% that are still generating a great deal of curiosity.
Right.
I guess I wasn't going to bring this up right off the bat, but now I will.
Okay.
I continue my prediction that something's going to happen. I have not said what because I don't know what. And by something, I mean a major impact on the lives of human beings is going to happen between now and January 20th. I don't know what, but I'm going to stick to that. You know why? I didn't pay anything.
It's ringing a bell with you.
I didn't even make it didn't cost me a thing
Okay.
to make that prediction. All right. What is going to happen? I have no idea. But I am fascinated, and yes, I've been getting them all from social media, the videos of what generically we've been calling drones. Who here has seen some of the videos?
I've seen some of the videos.
Yeah.
Seen them? Yep.
Yep. Everybody, Chris, you've seen them.
He chimed in.
And again, if 75% of them are the reflection of headlights on a kitchen window, so be it. 25% of them aren't. Also, many of the videos that I see clearly of the 25% category, which I entertain myself. I have no anything official that would suggest that 25% of what I look at is not defined. But the 25% I look at that are called drones, they're not drones. Whatever I've seen are not drones. They're rotating orbs, and they move at the speed of light. They can switch directions in any direction, and I find it very fascinating. And, I don't have any answers for anything. Why New Jersey, for example? I have no idea. And I really am aware that this is the realm of social media, and I don't want to fall into a trap of believing everything I see, and I don't. I'm going to give 75% of this to BS, all right? That means 25% I'm not, whether it's Norway or the Philippines or here or South America, because it's happening all around the world.
Except one place.
Where's that?
China.
China? It's not happening in China?
I'm just speculating.
But, so why all of a sudden? By all of a sudden, I mean in the last month. I think that's a reasonable question.
And all at once,
Anyone have an answer?
No.
They're scouting.
Well, I don't know who they are.
Exactly. That's all they want it. They want to keep you guessing.
Just the way you want it.
Yeah.
Drones.
It's like Author's
Try to
Corner.
remain somewhat serious.
I am. They're scouting. I'm not
It's
joking.
a serious question. Why now, meaning the last month? That's a serious question. Why now? Anyone? Staff? Anyone? I guess we got Reaver's answer.
Because conspiracy theorists might say there's going to be a transfer of power of some sort, and that's a convenient time to mess with things.
I'm comfortable saying I don't know why now.
Oh, I don't know why
But
either.
it plays into my prediction that something's going to happen between now and January 20th.
Okay.
Chris, do you think China is scouting?
Well, we had the balloon, what, a year ago? 2 years ago? We finally shut that thing down.
Why would we allow?
Because we have incompetence leading our country right now. That's why.
I did see that drones do not have the sort of range, because that was one of the first theories. They couldn't send a drone from China, so they'd have to have ops here somewhere, obviously, that would be releasing them.
And drones don't have the range of some of the videos I've seen. Where they're at, 30,000 feet or whatever.
Sure.
Okay, so why now? Do we have consensus in the group? I guess the consensus is we don't know why now.
Right.
Right?
That's, because we can't.
Was it the drone season with the holidays and whatever?
I've tried to tell you a few times here. I'm trying to get to the bottom of something, and it's very difficult when you bring up the season.
It's also Rookie's birthday.
It is.
Yeah, don't forget about that. I didn't. You guys have hidden everything pretty well. I didn't see where all the presents are.
It's a secret.
Okay, good.
Okay, why?
Well, wait a minute. You chide us.
Not done yet.
But you don't know why? Or you don't have a reason?
Well, good Lord, why would I be expected to have a reason?
Because you brought it up.
Well, but I'm bringing it up for a variety of points.
Why do you refuse to believe that the government knows exactly what these are for? Why do you reject that?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
No, you have. This is a continuing rejection from you on what is really happening, which I told you weeks ago.
Because I don't believe in the government. I don't believe anymore in the government. I just don't think we've had a government. I think we have an unaccounted for government. Biden, it's become clear now, even in conventional news gathering sources, has been essentially a figurehead since he got elected in 2020. He can't get an ice cream cone to his trap. He's not. So I'm serious. We don't have a government, and the one that's the shadow government, I don't believe or trust or understand.
But Joe, my explanation, I don't know, seems like a year ago. It's private companies working for the government. This is top secret technology. The government knows what's going on.
That does not diminish my question then. Why now?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that.
Why isn't this recent surge in all of these sightings, why isn't it covered by conventional news gathering sources? Rarely and briefly has it been covered.
Why is it still a kicker story? And before we close out tonight's broadcast, let's go out to New Jersey.
That's
and
the way they're
laugh.
doing it. Okay,
Yeah,
I came up with an answer for that. What is your answer, Reavers?
They're in the
Why
back
are
pocket
they
of the
not-
government.
Huh?
The conventional news gathering institutions in the back pocket of the government.
To which I would say, what government? We don't have one. But okay, that's your answer. John Haidt, do you have an answer?
Well, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
My answer is they're not good at their job, and they're treating this the same way they treated UFO sightings for years and years and years. They don't understand it. They can't get any information about it. Therefore, they mock it and laugh at it and have fun with it.
Somewhat on the right track, rookie.
They're pushing their own agenda.
Which would be what?
Which would just be to make the public not fear but be uncertain. That way they can have more control over day-to-day operations.
Who's they?
Exactly.
That is the question.
Okay, not close.
Okay. Swing and a miss. All right.
Wow.
But I appreciate the
Yeah, no
answer.
problem.
mean,
I
it's
just
your-
made all that shit up,
It's
so
your
it's okay.
birthday. I mean,
I don't even know what you're talking about. I was ordering online pizza.
by the way, if whatever this is and whatever motivates it is supposed to cause fear, I haven't detected any. I don't
Right.
sense.
Well, you've
I don't
detected
sense
uncertainty.
I don't sense a trembling public. Do you?
No,
And
but
the-
the public wants to know. They're uncertain of what the hell is this, and we want answers.
No,
And
the
Joe-
public isn't demanding that. The people who film videos keep saying, "What is this?" But this has not translated to a nationwide curiosity or a fear, in my estimation. I personally am not afraid of it. I haven't met anybody who is. I haven't met anybody who really gives a bleep, which I'll get to too.
No, I would say I'm unaffected. I'm unaffected
Yes,
by it
you
because it
are.
hasn't affected
So
me.
am I.
I've seen it on TV,
So
but it hasn't
if the
affected
purpose of this was to cause unrest, there isn't any. There isn't any.
It's the same thing. A car is upside down in the ditch, and you're the first one there, and you're mad that you have to slow down 10 miles an hour to get by because your job and wherever the hell you're going is far more important than the guy upside down in his car. It's the same thing that's happened to us as a society. We don't give a damn. It's all about us.
Okay, I'll accept that, but remember the question was, why isn't this being covered?
Oh, right, yeah.
On that matter, now I see it covered everywhere. That's why I was curious that you said. So I went to the New York Times, and just did a search. They've done 6 stories on it in the last 2 weeks.
Are you more upset that you're not getting the answers you want from the
Yeah.
coverage that's there, Joe?
When's the most recent story the Times did, John?
Most recent story appears to be December 19th. It looks like there's an editorial on the opinion page, and there's a story.
There's the editorial about the UFOs?
Yes.
And what does that say?
How to Make the Drone Panic So Very Much Worse by Zeynep Tufekci. But there's also a story that same day about drone flights being banned over sites in New York and New Jersey. And then there's a story the same day, videos purporting to show drones in New Jersey could be other things according to visual analysis.
Right.
So the drone.
So is it safe, John, given your quick perusal of these stories, the Times would fall on the side of being somewhat dismissive of this being something catastrophic or otherworldly?
I wouldn't call it dismissive. There's certainly no proof that
Right.
they would write a news story that's saying, well, gosh, the world's coming to an end because people
Right.
are saying things in the sky.
Because my answer was going to be, and this somewhat dilutes my answer, I think that for the conventional news gatherers, seeing a UFO is something akin to hanging onto your Bible and having a gun. That they would be dismissive of people in this country who are rattled because of all these sightings. They would find that beneath them, that they're not the type of people who would see such things. It's only you rubes out there in the hinterland who voted for Trump who see these things. Now, I could be completely on the wrong track, and if the New York Times has had 6 stories, one most recently is December 19th, I probably am off track. But that was the initial gist I got, for example, over the weekend, not seeing any stories about it. Nothing. And I thought, you know what they're thinking? They're thinking that this is the work of hillbillies, that they don't believe any of this stuff.
Pascagoula, Mississippi. Right?
Yeah.
Moving away from the coverage, do you think that this could just be part of a grand experiment to see how the country reacts to this sort of thing? And then part 2 of that question to you, do you think the drones could have been thrown into the mix to cover up for what's really going on? You know what I mean? They're just throwing so much crap in the sky that some of it is
Look over here, pay no attention.
Legitimately terrifying, and then some of it is just drones.
Well, that certainly has to be factored in. I don't think you're on the wrong course. Let's review. We're all in agreement that this, whatever this is recent. Is that correct? We're all in agreement.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Within the last month.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement that at least so far, the country does not seem troubled by it. Is that a safe statement?
Yes.
Seems
correct.
like it.
Yep.
There's no
All right,
alarm.
all right. Well, then, will whatever this is, if this is an effort to trouble the country, will it intensify until we are troubled?
Yeah. I like that.
Kind of like
so
gaslighting, just kind of slowly turning up the
because
heat.
so far you haven't gotten through to us. So far we're just, hey, there's another one. Just a minute, I got to go to Target and get some stuff.
Sure.
We're not worried. I don't know anybody.
Well, it's
who's
because
worried.
it hasn't impeded on our life,
Hasn't.
our
Right.
everyday
No.
existence. Okay.
I mean, there's claims that people don't like the taste of the water in New Jersey and that it smells like nail polish cleaner. But those are the kinds of social postings I tend to take with a grain of salt.
There is a story. I think is it Orlando? A kid was hit by a drone.
But that was actually a drone and was part of a Christmas ceremony in which drones were used.
Right.
So that has nothing to do with this.
No.
Nothing.
Chris, I love wild speculation, and you can find it on our YouTube channel. Somebody backing you up, Chris, Josh says China has police stations in the U.S. Not out of the question that they would have drones, capabilities of operating drones.
Okay, why?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because we're not, if they are, we're not bothered yet. Is it going to intensify until we're bothered?
What was your line? You said that they have the ability to take over without firing one weapon. Wasn't that your line?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is part of that plan.
Okay, better question. What has to happen before the nation is united in alarm?
EMP, is that what they're called? Electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah.
And then we can't communicate with each other. No
Some
more
sort
internet.
of- some sort of attack, right? From
Yep.
a drone before we'd actually go. Huh.
What
Power
about
grid system and
about-
internet.
death, the death of many, let's say caused by a sudden illness? Would that alarm the nation? I'd
already-
certainly be alarmed.
Well, COVID.
Even faster acting than COVID. I think they learned a lot of. Well, there I go into the conspiracy world. I said they learned a lot from COVID.
They really did,
I don't
didn't
know
they?
who they is,
See?
but COVID taught many lessons to many people, and I think it would be something stealthier than COVID.
Where did that originate?
China. It's a bioweapon.
Sure.
That's all that was.
Sure.
So we're in agreement that what would have to happen to bring about the unification of American people in alarm would be an attack, an illness spreading sudden death. Those are the two things, I guess.
Power grid failure.
Oh yeah, power.
okay.
I accept power grid failure.
That
yeah.
hits us where it counts.
But it would have to be a massive power grid failure.
Right.
Because 95% of the country won't give a bleep if the power goes out in New Jersey.
Right. I don't care if I've got my Yamaha generator out back, keeping my venison in my freezer cool.
Well, they still got them at EcoFund.
Hey, segue.
They're on sale.
Boy.
Kenny, if I
Yeah,
could
let
pat
me
you on
help
the
you.
back, I would.
Well, you would think these things would sell just because of what the hell's happening to us.
Right.
So Yamaha generators are on sale at EcoFund in Forest Lake and Burnsville. I mean, when I say on sale, I ain't whistling Dixie.
Yeah.
The EF, what's EF stand for, Kenny?
Efficiency fund.
EF 2200 IS was $13.99. It's $7.99. This is all through the lineup. There are 8 Yamaha generators available. At $29.99, you get it for $13.99. Everywhere I look, for $44.99, the which runs AC and more, has a maximum output of 4,500 watts. That's on sale. That was $44.99. That's $19.99. So whatever you're interested in, EcoFund Motorsports has it. It's a great store for recreational equipment, snow removal equipment, motorcycles, scooters, youth recreational equipment, and it's the electric bike capital of the world. But right now, a wonderful, wonderful sale on Yamaha generators at EcoFund Motorsports. It's on Highway 97, just west of 35 up in Forest Lake, Columbus, and down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42, EcoFundMotorsports.com.
earth is not your mother. The Joe Soucheray Show.
North American Banking Company. Yeah, it's my bank. And you know what? It should become your bank as well, because here's why I made the switch. I was tired of just being a number to my big national bank, and so I decided to make the switch. Here's the thing about North American Banking Company that sets them apart from the other banks. They take the time to get to know you, your family, and in some cases, your business. And that's exactly why I decided to go to North American Banking Company. They have 6 locations here in the Twin Cities to serve you. Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and also Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks, whether you're looking to buy a home, finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you've been thinking about. My friends at North American Banking Company can help you out. And they have the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. And they are also locally owned and operated. Here's why that's important. That means loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of state. So this helps business owners solve problems quickly and expand their business with confidence. So your first step is checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
Are we open tomorrow over here? This bank thing?
Yes, but they're probably going to close early.
Oh.
You know who's open?
I bet your guys are
North
open.
American Banking Company.
Yeah. But we have really learned how to, as a culture, we have learned how to turn a midweek Christmas into a long holiday.
Well, here's the beauty of it. The next 2 weeks,
yeah,
there's no traffic. It's fantastic.
That's a very good
You can
thing.
get a good parking spot today here
What
as
a
well.
jerk. So that means I have to work.
Why?
No.
There's no traffic.
Let me give you the advice
It's
you gave
my
me.
job is harder when there's no traffic.
Oh.
Because I have to kill 90 seconds. No matter what, I've got to fill 90 seconds.
You know, a funny thing happened to me on the way to the office today.
That's what it is, Rook. It turns out to be just 100% BS.
Well, I was going to say, why don't you do the advice you gave me when I filled in for you years ago? I don't know. Make S up.
Make stuff up, yeah. That's what he used to tell me, too.
That's what I do.
terrible. The public relies on this.
No. It's nothing untrue. It's just stuff that doesn't matter.
12 minutes between the 35s
It's
right
just
now. And
fluff. Yeah, it's just fluff and nonsense.
Or Kenny would tell me, it's always really crowded here at 4 p.m. Go ahead and say that.
Yeah. You could just write down the crowded areas and hit those. You wouldn't be wrong.
Nobody uses 494 anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah.
when's the last time you traveled in that? Because I took it yesterday on a Sunday afternoon, and it was a gong show. I hate that
I
freeway.
did it on a Tuesday morning or a Wednesday morning a week ago.
Just the strip that's bad. Everything else down by Woodbury, and it's always open.
See, the
Did
problem
you
is, Chris, you hate your life. That's
true.
the problem.
Yeah, that is a
So
good
every
portion.
little bit of traffic just makes you hate yourself even
It's
more.
fills me
not
with
in the
rage.
print edition, but did anyone read online the story of a Dayton woman, as in the Dayton family, attempting to build a home in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood?
Yeah.
And has been met with opposition. It's another Kathy Cargill story.
Okay.
Although on a much more modest scale. This woman was married to a Dayton. She's a pathologist by trade or profession, and I had to look it up to make sure I knew where Bryn Mawr is. Bryn Mawr is about due west of Target Field, and just north of 394, right in that area. And it's apparently there's a common wooded area that the people who live there have managed to convince themselves is theirs. The kids tromp through there and on their way to school. And she sounded like she was terribly aware of that in her plans to build, but she's just been met with hostility and how dare it sets up the old question: who are you supposed to root for? It's an afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted story.
But the part that boggles my mind is it's her it's her land.
That's who we pull for.
Well, of course, but that's changing in this country. That should be one of the most first and foremost reverencies of this country is your property.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, how dare you with this? We've considered this to be our property.
Right.
Well, it isn't yours. You could have bought it.
Right.
There's so many trespassers out here that's their excuse. How dare you have these acreage for yourself?
That's exactly what happened to her. She was advised either by her realtor or somebody to put up no trespassing signs, and she did that as inoffensively as possible. Maybe they were done in calligraphy or something. I don't know. But they've all been torn down, and she's been met with angry people who give her a hard time. And it sounds like she wants to build a little, typical Euphorian, she wants to build a little urban cottage type thing with maybe a vegetable garden that the kids can stop and
frolic,
till the soil. And sounds like she's trying to be a great neighbor, but they want no part of it. They want their woods, their Bryn Mawr woods. Where was I? Why that has not been in print, I don't know. Well, whatever.
Where is it? Is it Bassett Creek or Cedar Lake Road, or is it closer to 394? Do you know the exact location in Bryn Mawr? Or is it way out west by the bird sanctuary and all that?
I have no idea. I just know where Bryn Mawr is. Bryn Mawr is that little corner,
right?
94, 394.
Do you have the story in front of you?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to find out why.
Well, no, they did not include a map with the story.
Yeah, that's probably best. Because then we'd be down there stomping around.
And a lot of time, the site has been used for the deposit of construction debris.
Oh.
But that's apparently been all removed. But there was concrete in there and junk, but that's been taken care of.
Okay.
Todd wants to know, why is it okay to remove and sometimes destroy statues or symbols and display that are offensive and trigger emotions to those in society who are too damn sensitive, but it's okay to have a satanic display in the Minnesota State Capitol? That's a great question. I only brought it up to say that I wrote about the Satan display in the Sunday paper.
Okay.
And nothing generates any email comment anymore. I don't know if people aren't reading the paper or if it's just me or whatever, but it generated about 10 responses.
Okay.
All right. 5 of them were, I'm wrong. There should be a Satan thing. And I don't understand it, and I'm closed-minded.
Got it.
5 were, go get 'em, Joe. 5 were, you're an idiot. You don't appreciate what's happening here, blah, blah, blah. So you got that going for you.
Which is not
nice.
Do you think if the Joe 30, 40 years ago would have written about this, or no, that's a bad way to put it because we were different then. Do you think if you were younger today and you wrote that, you would be received in the same way with the negative stuff? I think you get a lot of criticism just for the fact that you're white and you're in your upper 60s, early 70s. I think that alone is enough to criticize you. Where if you were 40 years old, you might not get that criticism. Do you think that's something?
Well, one guy's criticism was easy to skip because he said, yeah, I read your piece in the Star Tribune about this, and I want to tell you, I was going to email him and say, pal, you don't even have the right paper, but I didn't bother.
Well, part of the decline of what I was getting at is part of the decline of America is instead of respecting the people that have been around longer than us and that have experienced life and might have some good advice for us, instead of respecting them, we make fun of them and we discount them and we don't give them any credit whatsoever.
So, back to the unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I have a quote from the Dayton lady, if you want me to lay that on you.
Oh, yeah, let's go back to the Dayton lady who wants to build a house in Bryn Mawr.
This is an awesome quote, too. I don't know which side to be on. I wanted to build a sustainable urban farmstead for myself and educate others in what's left of my life, then to pass it on to the community. It seems very clear to me that the neighbors, via the city, intend to stop that. At this point, the most mindful thing to do would be to clean up the city's mess and donate to an affordable housing nonprofit that can be trusted to build sustainable family homes. may be for descendants of communities historically displaced or underserved by the government of Minneapolis and Minnesota.
This is the Dayton woman saying this?
Yeah.
Well, here, what's
It's
her first name?
windmilling,
Do we
Joe.
know?
I don't
Vanessa.
have that.
Vanessa.
Vanessa, I got a tip for you. If you really want to get back at these neighbors, you build the homeless shelter right there.
That's
Put
what
the whole thing right
Yeah.
there.
Not in my backyard.
They'll
I
beg you
lo-
to stay.
I love that just leaving it as it is not an option for her.
Yeah.
Which is what sounds like that's what the neighbors want,
Yeah,
right?
they do.
Yeah.
They've developed an entitlement mentality about this undeveloped land.
And if you're living outstate, when you hear affordable housing, that's a term for the ghetto. That's what the ghetto is, affordable housing.
Right, because in the Twin Cities, there is no affordable
No,
housing.
there's no such thing. And if there is, it's the ghetto, and there's a lot of crime there.
Where was I? Oh, back to the UAPs. I'm as willing as the next guy to never bring it up again. But I'm eternally curious, endlessly curious.
Endlessly?
And there's got to be a reason this is all happening so recently, and the parameters are expanding. The videos are coming in now from all over the world.
Yeah.
I find myself looking out the window every once in a while. There's nothing around here that I've seen.
Everything's ordinary.
Yeah, there's nothing to. I wish I'd see something. I love celestial events, which I rarely see.
Right. You always miss them.
I miss them, but I'd be more than happy to see these things. I think what I would make an effort to do is talk to it.
Just to see if it responds?
Yeah, I think they would respond
In a
to
funny
maybe-
voice or just in English?
No, probably a normal voice, but I think they would respond to friendliness. You know, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, all are welcome here.
Yeah.
All drones are welcome here.
All are welcome here.
Right.
Would you call it defiant kindness?
I think so.
Like it was mentioned in an editorial on Saturday in
I'm
the
not
Star
sure
Tribune.
I could force myself to read that. What was it?
Let's turn our holiday spirit into a year-round campaign of defiant kindness. Judge Bruce Peterson is so upset by the Trump victory that he's going out of his mind. He's
Hey,
pulling
Brucey,
his hair.
you'll get over it.
And the only thing he can come up with is to be kind, even if it kills him. This guy's a judge in Minnesota. Yeah.
Well, so far so good, except, isn't it weird? I keep saying something's going to happen between January and 20. The only thing that can be linked to this now month-long development is the election of Trump. What other world event, if in fact this is connected to a world event, which it may not be, the only world event that the world is really worked up about is Trump getting elected.
So, what are you saying?
Are you saying we may have to cancel Christmas?
Are you saying that this is political?
I'm merely saying that it's a coincidence that these frequent sightings, they're gaining in frequency, have corresponded with the post-election period of Trump ascending once again to the White House.
I love you, man.
I know you do.
I love you. You know, in a million years, I wouldn't have been able to make that link.
Yep.
It almost sounded a little
so
counterclockwise expansion a little bit there.
Double flange on the
No,
joist.
no, I'm gonna. You know what? We're at the point where I'm gonna go with it.
I would.
I'm gonna buy it.
Tell with it.
He's been right about a lot of other crazy things. Let's just go with it.
I'm proud of how crazy I am.
Yeah.
It's Trump. It's definitely Trump.
Got to be Trump.
And we chose it.
Everything
crazy.
else is.
Hey, what if it's Elon?
Elon, he knows how
He's
to do
got the
this.
technology and
He
the
could-
capability and all that. You
Okay,
know,
but then why?
to mess with us.
But if
You're
it's-
here for one reason.
Yep.
Yeah. But if it's not the Trump crowd doing it, it's the anti-Trump crowd. Just remember,
Not my president.
something's going down. Well, you got this fruitcake judge who wants to be defiantly kind. What the hell does that mean? Something's going down.
It's about to go down.
Something's about to go down between now and January 20th.
My mama told me to tell
I
you.
allowed you to use 6 words.
This reckless speculation of yours kind of reminds me of the.
Did he say rectal
I think so.
speculation?
It wasn't rental.
I meant to say reckless. Kind of reminds me of the climate change crowd predicting that the world's going to end in 5 years.
Yeah, but I got a chance to be right. They've already been wrong. My deadline hasn't even come up yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a deadline on it. Just say sometime soon.
Why don't we take a small break and be back with John Haidt? people.
Yeah, where my list at?
Give me a liner.
Here we go.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Soucheray.
Seafoam Works. One of the emails I receive is, okay, Hooplehead, I bought the Seafoam, now what? To which I always reply, well, for regular fuel system maintenance, just putting it in your daily driver, add 1 ounce per gallon. That's, to me, that's a few glugs. You don't have to get out the shot glass here. For cleaning, add 2 or more ounces per gallon on a very low tank. The more you add to the fuel, the better it cleans. For injector cleaning, use a 50-50 mixed with gas. For 100% Seafoam, just throw it in there, the whole jug for diesel injecting cleaning machines. If none of this is making sense, don't worry. We've got a website you can go to. All of these tips are available, seafoamworks.com. All of this will help your engine run better. It'll help your engine last longer, help recover poor engine performance. It prevents common problems. It makes it start better, on and on and on. It's good stuff. It's safe for all gasoline and diesel engines. And the best part about Seafoam, it is available everywhere, all over the world over. And you know what? If you don't want to leave the house, get to that. Do you remember that website I just gave you? Seafoamworks.com. Order it in. It'll come right to your doorstep. A wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joel. This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. The man accused of fatally shooting the CEO of United Healthcare pleaded not guilty this morning to state murder and terror charges, while his attorney complained that comments coming from New York's mayor would make it tough to get a fair trial. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was shackled and seated in a Manhattan court when he leaned over to a microphone to enter his plea. The Manhattan District Attorney charged him last week with multiple counts of murder, including murder as an act of terrorism, in a state case that will run alongside his federal prosecution. The initial appearance in New York State trial court was preempted by federal prosecutors bringing their own charges over the shooting. The federal charges could carry the possibility of the death penalty, while the maximum sentence for the state charges is life in prison without parole. Prosecutors have said the two cases will proceed on parallel tracks, with the state charges expected to go to trial first. One of Mangione's attorneys told a judge that government officials, including New York Mayor Eric Adams, have turned Mangione into a political pawn, robbing him of his rights as a defendant and tainting the jury pool.
Why did he get to dress the way he did today? Is he allowed to have clothes brought to him in prison, in jail?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got the nice khakis on, a golf shirt, a sweater, good shoes. This whole thing is weird. It's just weird.
I was telling Joe, you guys, did you see the clip from Saturday Night Live when Colin Jost was doing Weekend Update and brought this guy's name up, and the entire audience applauded?
Really?
It was
yikes.
Very cringe.
Martin Short was kick butt on Saturday Night Live this weekend.
I just I watched the monologue, the opening.
Yeah.
There was not a funny moment in it.
I missed
and
the
I guess
missed the
I'm
opening.
wrong because everybody's raving about it.
No, you're right. Not one. I turned it off.
Jeez.
I thought the
funny.
the parking thing was a funny skit.
I didn't see it.
I was alone. Okay.
I didn't
Walking through the hallways at SNL, that bit is so tired and boring. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Anyway, why does this guy get,
I thought
his
that was
LL
standard.
Bean outfit to wear?
I thought that was standard.
I thought the orange jumpsuit was standard.
I did look, Joe, and I think this is weird. He was dressed nicely, but he had on orange shoes. I think he had on the jail shoes.
Oh.
It was very weird. They were just orange slip-ons that didn't match anything. But other than that, he looked pretty spiffy.
Yeah.
What's the Joe Pesci movie where he played a lawyer? The defendants in that.
My Cousin Vinny?
These Utes?
Yeah, those defendants were allowed to put on their street clothes for jail.
Oh, maybe it's just like the movies then.
It must be.
Yeah.
Not a lot of local news. So I'm going to take a short detour here and head back to my hometown of Mandan, North Dakota, for the tale of something you shouldn't do if you're a criminal. A Mandan man was arrested after he was allegedly caught smoking fentanyl at his home by his probation officer, who was doing an inspection of the residence at the time. 32-year-old Gage Allard was charged with 1 count of possession with intent to manufacture and deliver fentanyl. Carries up to 10 more years in prison because Allard was still on probation. That case has now been reopened. An officer visited Allard's residence as part of his supervised release following a 2023 felony drug conviction where he was sentenced to 1.5 years in prison and 3 years in probation. When the officer got there...
I'm sorry, Johnny.
Oh, sorry. When the officer got there, he was met by Carly Fox, who said Allard was in the bathroom. Well, the officer went there and found Allard smoking fentanyl, according to the affidavit. Prince will get a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award in February. That's a prize usually given to overlooked and under-recognized artists, not guys like Prince. Besides Prince, the Recording Academy has announced 6 honorees for Lifetime Achievement: Frankie Beverly, The Clash, Bobby Jones, Taj Mahal, Roxanne Shante, and Frankie Valli, all of whom started their careers before Prince, except the rapper Shante. Prince has collected 7 normal Grammys, which is more than the other 6 Lifetime honorees combined. Beverly, Shanti, and Valli have never won a Grammy. The Clash and Jones each earned 1, while Taj Mahal picked up 4.
Why do you poo-poo Prince getting this recognition?
I think pretty much for the reason John just said.
Just, okay.
He's got enough Grammys.
Yeah, they don't usually give the Lifetime Achievement to people who've won a lot of Grammys.
But, okay, if he was still alive and got the Lifetime Achievement, would you have an issue?
I don't believe I would, Chris.
Okay.
In fact, now that you're forcing me to
no,
think
I'm just-
about it,
I
I don't
wasn't
really give a
trying to be-
bleep that he's getting this either.
But
Got it.
he wouldn't get one though if he was alive because he has 6 Grammys already. So see, it's he wouldn't get a Lifetime Grammy if he were still alive.
Huh?
Guys who have won a bunch of Grammys, Chris, don't get Lifetime Grammys. That's the whole point.
I'm really, really sorry I said anything.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Wow.
Everybody else, Kenny, Rook,
Jesus.
you guys,
Definitely.
No opinion. I'm going Switzerland on this one.
no opinion. President-elect Trump has been warned that Republican resistance to ending government spending puts restraints that could harm his mass deportation plans. The majority of Republicans defied the president-elect Friday night to support a funding bill that would keep the government running until March without suspending the federal debt limit. However, Trump was seeking to halt the cap to give himself scope to embark on ambitious spending schemes when he enters the White House next year. But fiscal conservatives in his own party are concerned about trillions of dollars in debt that the U.S. has accumulating. The rebellion casts doubt on whether Trump would be able to fulfill his election campaign promises. Last Wednesday, remember, Trump came out against a bipartisan government funding deal that was negotiated by Mike Johnson, the House Speaker. He effectively killed that bill, declaring it ridiculous and extraordinarily expensive. Anything other than a temporary funding bill without Democratic giveaways combined with an increase in the debt ceiling is a betrayal of the country, he had declared then. However, a proposal to suspend the debt limit for 2 years failed on the House floor when 38 Republicans voted against Trump's wishes, joining Democrats in the vote. Hours before the deadline on Saturday morning, Congress passed a deal that would keep the government funded until March without lifting the debt ceiling, exactly what the president-elect didn't want to happen. Why don't we take a short break here, and we'll have more news after this, but first we must hear from the birthday boy.
Thank you, John, for recognizing that. This is the anniversary of my birth, and although I am no Jesus, you know,
I think I do.
I would like to warm your hearts with a little story. A hearth, a warm house, people gathering by the fire.
What's wrong with you?
A lot, especially at 56. The Welter family, they are they're going to celebrate Christmas, I'm sure, this year in a nice, toasty, warm house as well. Everybody should. So if you have a problem with your heating unit, hopefully it won't be on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Hopefully it's working properly. But if you do hear some funny noises and it's still working, that's got to be checked out. And they've got certified technicians that will help you do that at welterheating.com. 24/7 emergency service. I hope you don't need it, but it's a fail-safe, good insurance if you do. Their telephone number, they're located in Minneapolis. They've been around for over 100-plus years. They serve the metro area. The phone number you need to call is 612-825-6867. But just remember, welterheating.com. It's much easier. You can get a quote. You can make an appointment. And they work on heating units, cooling units, and air purification systems. I've done work. They've been in my home working on machines in my house. And you know what? They did a great job. It was one-stop shopping. They'll do the same for you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Welter family. Rick and the whole crew over there want to remind you, warm up your shelter with the fine folks at Ray N. Welter.
show?
Who's no opinion?
Is there a spot here, Chris?
Yes. Just waiting for the
where
liner.
is it? Here
I
we
need
go.
a liner.
He's the man that's
It's the end of
trying
the
to
world
find
as
a
we know
liner.
it, and he feels fine. Joe Soucheray.
If you need some holy water to cleanse your soul,
Yes, yeah, you better. Speedy delivery.
how about my friends at Hofferman Water and Connecticut? Here's the deal, folks. 'Tis the season to get on that schedule to have them come out for that free water analysis. You're going to get that water score, too, to kind of tell you where you're at in terms of how bad your water is. I did this a number of years ago, and I found out just how awful my water is, and that's why Connecticut and Hofferman Water came to the rescue. So you do that one of two ways. You can call them directly at 612-895-2440, or go visit their website, which is hoffermanwater.com. And oh, by the way, if you go on the website, you can see every single system that they have to offer, whether it's a brand new drinking water system, a water softener, maybe an iron, rust, and odor filtration system. Everything is on their website. And once you make that switch, you're going to be amazed at the difference in the quality of your water. I know I have been very, very happy with the choice of my switch. 612-895-2440 or hoffermanwater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Please mention that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic podcast, Johnny.
Well, I got to tell Johnny something. When we were kids, we were drenched with holy water every
Really?
time there was a storm warning.
Really?
And
Really?
Mother would tell us to
Just
get
as cheap insurance.
just to get down the basement, get in the southwest corner, huddle in there. A lot of my siblings stayed down there longer than they should have.
Sure.
But we were
Yeah.
drenched with holy water.
Really?
Yeah, sprinkle it all over.
Where
us.
do you get it from?
I guess you got it at the holy water store. I
St.
don't know.
Pat's Guild. You go to St. Pat's Guild.
Church.
Are you allowed to dry it off, or do you have to let it air dry?
You should during a storm warning. You should air dry it. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. I don't think we ever had holy water at our home.
Well, it worked. No, we survived
You all
every
survived.
tornado.
Nobody got
That's
scooped
right.
away.
Every
So-
tornado came and went.
So, but then the neighbors who were like Protestants and don't
She
have
didn't
holy,
allow them to have any holy
But
water. Often they would
they
be
were-
wounded.
but yeah, they ended up getting swept away.
Right.
The house
Some of them are
disappeared.
gone. Yeah, completely. They
Right.
never came back.
In other news, the House Ethics Committee released its report this morning on Matt Gaetz. The report says he regularly paid for sex, including with a 17-year-old girl, purchasing and using illicit drugs, all while he was a member of Congress. The 37-page report by the bipartisan panel includes explicit details of sex-filled parties and vacations that Gaetz took part in from 2017 to 2020 while representing Florida's Western Panhandle. The findings conclude he violated multiple state laws related to sexual misconduct while in office. The committee determining there was substantial evidence that he violated House rules and other standards of conduct prohibiting prostitution, statutory rape, illicit drug use, impermissible gifts, special favors of privileges, and obstruction of Congress. The report brings to a close a nearly 5-year investigation into Gaetz, who spent the majority of his time in Washington in Mashton
Having
scandals.
sex. Having sex, apparently.
While ethics reports have previously been released after a member's resignation, it's extremely rare. Gaetz objected to its release, saying last week he would have no opportunity to debate or rebut the findings as a former member of the House. Speaking of Congresspeople, a post on U.S. Representative Kay Granger's X account has raised questions after it emerged that the retiring Congresswoman has been living in an independent living facility and experiencing dementia issues. The spokesperson for Granger did not respond to questions about the post, but provided a statement from the Congresswoman that said, well, her health challenges have made frequent travel to Washington difficult and unpredictable. Her staff has remained steadfast, continuing to deliver exceptional constituent services as they have for the past 27 years. The 81-year-old Granger has served in Congress for almost 3 decades, has not voted on the House floor since July. She announced last year that she would not seek re-election in 2024 and stepped down from her role as chair of the House Appropriations Committee in March. What the Republican Congresswoman had not disclosed so far to the public was that she has been residing at a senior living facility after a Dallas newspaper dug into her whereabouts following her months-long absence from Washington, D.C. She admitted to that.
You don't think the third rail is separate from you and me? This woman, a Congresswoman, was gone. Nobody even knew where she was.
Since July.
Since July.
But she's out now, right?
No, she's in a Twitch farm.
So when she said she would not seek re-election in 2024, she was lying?
No, that was a long time ago when she said that. That was the summer. Before she ever, if you want to call it, disappeared.
Yeah.
That she announced
I mean,
that.
in real life, that can't happen. You can't disappear from Hubbard Inc. for 6 months.
Hi, I'm Kenny.
And then expect to be you'd suffer consequences. You'd be fired, or this is ridiculous. These people do not have a life that has anything to do with the American public.
How long
Nothing.
has she served? Did you say 24 years?
27 years.
Yep.
Past 27 years.
She should have been gone 17 years ago.
She'd been playing bingo in this place since July, and no one even noticed.
It's kind of like when Ilhan shows up every 2 years to run for re-election.
How long are we going to let this go on? Seriously.
Well, I don't look for Trump to change it. I think he's on third rail, whether he knows it or not.
What about Doge? Huh?
Doge could help.
Doge is going to come in and clean house.
Although it's ironic that you had to create a new bureaucracy to get rid of some stuff.
But they're doing it unpaid.
Well, I appreciate that. He's getting Musk is getting paid plenty from government contracts.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, we'll just let that one go. President Biden, citing moral and policy objections to capital punishment, said he's commuting the death sentences of 37 inmates today, a move that prevents President-elect Trump from executing most men on federal death row. Biden said in a statement, "Make no mistake, I condemn these murders, grieve for the victims of their despicable acts, and ache for all the families who have suffered unimaginable and irreparable loss." But citing his early experiences as a public defender, as well as decades in federal office, he said, "I am more convinced than ever we must stop the use of the death penalty at the federal level. In good conscience, I cannot stand back and let a new administration resume executions that I halted. The 37 men, all convicted of murder, will serve life imprisonment without parole."
Well, first of all, Biden doesn't know who he's pardoning. He was handed a list, and then he was told what to say during his remarks. There are 3 people who didn't get the pardon.
Right.
Dylan Roof, who carried out the 2015 slayings of 9 black members of the Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, South Carolina. The 2013 Boston Marathon bomber, Dokar Sarnav, and Robert Bowers, who shot 11 congregants at Pittsburgh's Tree of Life Synagogue. Okay, fine. You want to pardon 37 of the 40? That I'll live. But how did you make? Who made the call for Biden? I mean, how did you decide?
Right.
You know what? This murder is all right. This one isn't. Was it because they killed so many people? In other words, it'd be interesting to know of 37 who did get the pardon, and all the pardon means they have to serve a life sentence.
Yeah, it's not a pardon; it's a commutation.
It's a life sentence. Are there any multiple murders in the 37 of the 40 who got? Maybe you didn't excuse the 3 who killed multiple numbers of people.
I don't know, but I do know that one of them was a guy that raped and murdered a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, but if he only raped or murdered one, he should get to live according to this theory. Yeah. But he didn't do this. There's whoever's running the government, which I don't believe in anymore. Not that I probably did at one point in my life, but I certainly don't believe in it anymore. Whoever's running the government came up with this list, and this guy wanders out there and pretends he knows what he's talking about.
Pat, Joe believed in the government back when he was what? A lefty Nixon apologist.
Pat's not in there.
He's right there.
Oh.
Where is he? Let's go here.
It makes no sense, is what you're saying, Joe.
Nobody can hear him.
Pat's in the green room and no one can
saying.
hear him, so that's just as well. Oh, that's right. Okay, Pat, we're going to finish up here.
In other news, the man accused of killing 5 people and injuring more than 200 others by ramming a car into a crowded German Christmas market had a history of making anti-Muslim statements, which had grown increasingly dark and threatening toward Germany in recent months. The suspect is Talib Abdul Mohsen. He was arrested at the scene of the attack in Magdeburg on Friday. A Saudi Arabian citizen, the 50-year-old psychiatrist, came to Germany in 2006. Once settled in the country, he began sharing advice online with other people about how to escape repressive regimes in Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states. While initially appreciative to Germany in recent years, he appeared to grow increasingly disgruntled with the country and its immigration policies. In 2015, Germany welcomed more than 1 million refugees from the Middle East, but has since moved to tighten border controls. German authorities said on Saturday they were examining his dissatisfaction with Germany's treatment of refugees, although they said more time was needed to establish a motive. 2 U.S. Navy pilots ejecting from their jet fighter over the Red Sea after being caught in an apparent case of friendly fire, according to U.S. Central Command. That happened as American forces conducted a new round of attacks against the Houthi militant group in Yemen overnight. The military said the 2 pilots safely ejected from their F-A-18 after it was hit by fire from a guided missile cruiser, the USS Gettysburg. Party City closing all of its stores.
No! Is that where you get all your
Really?
Party City? Is that where you get all your plates and cups? And
That's right.
because it has city on it, so you won't do business
I'm not
with
going there.
Okay.
This will end 40 years in business. CEO Barry Litwin told corporate employees in a meeting Friday that Party City is, in his words, winding down operations immediately and that their last day of employment was last Friday. Staff were told they will not receive severance pay, and they were told their benefits would end as the company goes out of business. Also on Friday, some of Party City's store employees received letters from the company saying they would close down other stores on February 28th, at which point staff would be terminated.
Do you think they have a going away party?
Hey, now.
Where do we get all the stuff?
What now? Wait a minute now.
Yes, sir.
The concept is not bad.
Party City.
Yeah.
It's like a whole city.
Have people stopped having parties?
You know what they're asking themselves?
What are they?
Where's the party?
What happened here? No, seriously. This is a.
Well, I
it
can
made
tell you.
sense.
I can tell
you.
you.
Party City.
They're getting their stuff online. That's what happened.
Paper plates.
Yeah.
My wife still
Party
goes to
City,
Party
get it.
City.
Where's Party City?
It's
Robert?
right next to Rib City, isn't it?
Yeah, all you can eat. There's one on Robert. There used to be one in Highland.
There was?
Yes, that was where the Snyders used to be.
Can you imagine getting your
Before it
walking
was torn
papers for Christmas?
No.
From Party City. Yeah,
John,
you're right.
thank you.
What am I going to do? I didn't get to grow with the company.
There's
Say-
nothing funny about it. I don't know why you're making fun of it.
Yeah,
These
Matt.
I
are
don't think your tone is very funny.
no. I mean, these are minutes. This is us. I mean, these people
Right.
will not
and
have
I'd like
jobs.
to know, have people stopped throwing parties? I'm not buying your ordering it on the line deal.
Pat, you ever been to a Party City?
Yeah, there's nothing to be gained by making fun of this. Again, nobody can hear him.
He's buying in the fact that everything's being purchased
he
online.
He can confirm that people are buying things online because his life's in danger every time he gets near the front door. All right. Say, I want to tell you, you can schedule a free on-site. You don't have to bring the garage to Precision Door. A free on-site new garage door consultation with one of the garage door designers from Precision Door MN. They do everything for your current garage door. This is in the event you want to change garage doors. They've got models for every budget. The designer comes out, you sit down, shoot the fat, bing, bang, boom, you pick out a new door. What have you done? Well, you've increased the aesthetic appeal of your house, you've improved security, and you've improved your utility bill because you get better insulation, all that good stuff. But listen, they serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro. They let you know when they're on the way. They get it all done the first time. They don't charge more for weekends, and they are really have become the favorites. Well, I got an email today. Where is it? Some guy said, what did he say? What's that garage door company and contact for the company you endorse? Merry Christmas, Gary. Don't people, we listen? It's Precision Door, Gary.
Come on, Gary.
Precision Door MN. 612-263-6600. 6985. Or if you want to go online, go to Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com.
This next song is about Kenny Olson.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Soucheray.
Yet another discovery of a lost tribe, which always alerts me to the fact that how bad can things be?
How bad could they be?
How destroyed can the earth be if we're still finding tribes?
Right.
You know, the guys shooting airplanes with bows and arrows.
Yep.
And they got their own language. And this is, again, in the... you're going to have to go out and tell him to change rooms. Yeah, this is the last tribe picks. No, I'm reading the cut line. God.
Wasn't that the Gods Must Be Crazy? Wasn't that about?
The group is so secretive that no one knows its name. All the outsiders call it Masako. It's in the Amazon rainforest. They have one eerie practice that apparently distinguishes them from anybody else.
Bunga bunga?
I don't know what that is. I'm looking now at a map. They don't require a lot of land. They live in the dense jungle. And there are now 28 so-called unknown groups.
Okay.
In the Amazon. It's the latest.
You think we pretty much covered the Amazon over the years.
And they have... let's see.
They got the poison darts.
They set traps for animals, and they set traps for other humans. They don't want people in there. They have tall huts. They use spikes, poles stacked with animal skulls. They have long hair, mustaches, and they don't have any piercings.
They got any
and we
polar
know
bear
this.
femurs?
We know this because pictures were taken of them on secret cameras set up in the jungle by researchers from Brazil's National Indigenous Peoples Foundation. They were set by Funai's Altir Algair, who oversees the protection of the Masako's 1 million acre territory. Okay, I have an observation that I think is foolproof.
What do you got?
If you have these, if we're still finding previously undiscovered human beings, don't tell me there ain't no Bigfoot.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
I can.
Huh?
No. Well, where would you be looking
no,
for
don't
a
tell
Bigfoot?
me. I don't want to hear it. This population of this tribe is increasing. Boy, that's that's fantastic. I don't know why I say that. I guess it's
Well,
fantastic.
kind of fun. I mean, when you come to think of it.
And they have a very, I would imagine, agrarian life. There's little teeny bows and arrows and toys and small footprints that provides evidence of children, and the tribe is growing, and they have more huts than they've seen on previous satellite images. So this is all wonderful. And I'm looking at pictures of them.
Are any of them walking around like in a Van Halen T-shirt?
Right, yeah, or 44
and then
football jersey.
No, they're usually Michael Jordan T-shirts.
When the crackers walk in, they quick take the T-shirt off and get down on all fours and act primitive. And then once they're gone, they're back up on hind legs,
playing
watching
hoops.
TV and playing on their phones.
No, these are they're not wearing any clothes.
Somebody's coming by. Hang on, get down.
And they make a nice hut. I'm looking at some of their construction. It's a nice hut. They look like a fit group of people, and God love them. And how bad can things be in the world? I mean, we're told that the Amazon's disappearing. I'm sure it is. But not because of me. I didn't burn anything
But
down.
because of rich families that want to develop?
But you don't even know these people are in there. They got their own 1 million acres.
Maybe that's the key.
Well, a million isn't that much.
Doesn't the government, I mean, aren't they supposed to be taxed? Aren't they?
Have you ever heard of North Sentinel Island? It's an island where nobody is allowed to go to because it's ruled by cannibals. And the people that have gone there have ended up disappearing and evidently on the menu that night.
Really? Well, they're cannibals.
It's really, really interesting, and nobody is allowed to go there. And there's a strict no-visit policy that's been put in place by the Indian government.
Okay, where is this?
It is the Bay of Bengal.
It's over there in Asia. Yeah.
But wouldn't there be, if there's a limited number of people there and they're reproducing, isn't that, doesn't that not always work?
Well, you have to have a food source.
You mean inbred? Yeah. Chromosome count.
Yeah. For real.
No, you're right. That's, like I said, they eat people.
For real?
And not in the fun way.
Where are the traveling Lymans?
Oh, my goodness.
They're in West Las Vegas, Nevada still. And so
Let's figure it out.
It's only because they come to us all the way from West Las Vegas, Nevada, from the traveling Lymans. It was on this day,
December 23rd,
1832. Hans Mattsson was born in Sweden. An advocate for Swedish immigration to Minnesota, he established the Vasa colony in Goodhue County in 1853. He served as a colonel of the 3rd Minnesota Regiment during the Civil War and as U.S. Consul General in India from 1881 to 1883. In 1877,
Is that a good gig?
he founded the Swedish newspaper Minnesota Statstidning, the Minnesota State Times.
It was covered by the whole state, like the Star Tribune is now.
On this bill, on this day,
1223,
1846, a bill was introduced in Congress to create a territory called Minnesota, Minasota.
Wait, we were Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Huh.
Although the bill failed, it was the first legislative use of the name.
Okay. That's where it first appeared. Minnesota.
That's right.
Yeah.
Birthday boy.
Got it. Thank you.
And finally, on this day,
December 23rd,
right before Christmas, isn't it? The 23rd.
Days.
In 1926.
technically 2 days.
1926.
Before the big crash.
What?
Before the big crash.
That was 1929.
Yeah, see? This is 3 years pregnant.
This was 1926. Yeah. Robert Bly was born in Madison, Minnesota. I
Really?
have been to Madison, Minnesota. I played a prom in Madison, Minnesota, where they had more girls than boys, and the girls gave each other corsages.
Wow.
It's kinda
Madtown.
touching. Yeah,
Was
They have
that,
a fun racetrack there.
it's kind of touching.
Was that
But if I wasn't so evil, I would have shed a tear, as Kenny says.
is that right up by St. Cloud?
It's western
it's-
Minnesota.
It's on the Sodak border.
On this day in 1926, Robert Bly was born in Madison, Minnesota. After becoming a poet, translator, editor, and activist in the men's movement, I didn't know we had a men's movement.
No one told us.
He wrote numerous books, including the best-selling nonfiction work on men and myth, Iron John, a book about men.
A shirt.
I don't think Robert's still with us because he'd be 98.
Two
I
roads
don't-
diverged in a yellow wood,
Maybe he is.
and I could
I
not
hope he
stop.
is, Robert. I hope you're still with us.
I don't want to
He's,
besmirch the fine folks
Yes,
of
John?
Madison, but I'm wondering if anybody there has ever read any Robert Bly. Do you think
know.
so?
John, is he still alive?
No, he died in November of 2021. So he lived to be, what, 95?
Well, he had a great
94?
life, didn't he?
94, yep.
Yeah. I remember that Robert Bly being born in Madison from last year
Probably around this time.
on this day.
And that has made all the difference.
Wouldn't it have been a Sunday last year? Just saying.
Two roads
Yeah,
diverged.
maybe I didn't read this last year. That's why it's not familiar to me.
Technically, it was a Saturday because
I
Christmas
gotta
Eve last
go.
year was a Sunday.
You guys have made me so
Goodbye.
angry today.
Hey,
Goodbye.
Jesus, God.
two roads diverged in a yellow wood.
Goodbye.
And I'm sorry that I could not travel both. But being a traveler long, I stood and watched to where it bent in the undergrowth.
Thank you.
It's a good poem.
Do
Robert
us a
Bly?
favor. Subscribe to the
wasn't
Garage
Robert Bly.
Logic YouTube channel,
Who's that?
Frost.
where you can take part in all the action on the Garage Logic YouTube
Who
channel.
was a better rhymer, Robert Frost or Robert Bly?
You know what? Tell with it. Merry Christmas, GLers. We'll
Buckets.
Good
try
Lord.
this again on
no
Thursday.
discipline. Bunch of hacks.
What can't get him? Is he freezing?
Yeah.